with Earth. When I was 6, 2 months seemed an eternity to wait for the first blooms. Every time I came by for a swim, I would weed and water and fuss over the seedlings, hoping there was something I could do to hurry them up. "They'll come, Simons," she would say. Since that long ago afternoon, we've planted zinnias every Easter in that same flower bed, in that same garden. It's been 20 years. I pop my bike up on a curb. The jolt reactivates the throbbing in my head. I was reckless last night, for sure, but I also fear I crossed a line. I'll have to ask Martha for advice. She'll tell it to me straight. I round the corner from Meeting Street onto South Battery, once the neighborhood of wealthy indigo and cotton planters, escaping the malarial summer heat on their plantations. The most architecturally elaborate houses in the city line these 3 blocks, facing White Point Garden, known to us locals simply as the Battery. The antebellum park is situated on the tip of the old peninsula, where any native will tell you, grandiosely, the Ashley and Cooper rivers meet and join to become the Atlantic Ocean. Live oaks with long, undulating branches canopy its walking paths and benches. At its center is an old-fashioned bandstand. Scattered throughout are statues from the wars, Revolutionary, Confederate, and 20th century. Symbols abound here of both war and peace. Old cannons aimed at Fort Sumter in the harbor, a bronze angel sculpture which doubles as a water fountain. The most prominent installation lunges from the corner of the park, where the 2 rivers intersect. Standing on an octagonal pedestal, a naked man raises a sword, his muscles rippling. He defends a woman cloaked in a robe. In one hand, she holds a garland of laurel. With the other, she points to the enemy, the Union Army, out at sea. As a child, I climbed around the base of that statue, groping for footholds along the slick granite. I had stared at the naked figure, a fig leaf covering his penis. It wasn't until some bubba started driving his truck here every Sunday with a Confederate flag mounted on an absurdly large pole that I realized the naked man embodied the battle cry of the Confederacy. And that beautiful woman, her hair lifted by the breeze, cast frozen in time, was an allegory for my city at the time of the Civil War. Had she known better, she would have waved the Northern soldiers in, maybe offered them some tomato sandwiches. Across the street from the old park are a seawall and a long promenade, where tourists and townspeople walk or jog or push baby strollers. The clip-clop of horse-drawn carriages, the shriek of herring gulls, and the murmur of pigeons make the Battery sound old-fashioned and out of time. Every day, the waters lick the barrier between the city and the sea. The insidious, salty tongues reach higher and higher, and some days the water flows over the retaining wall. Drivers take detours, runners leap over puddles. Tourists take photographs. Though some days come more often these days. Our city is sinking. Maybe the lady statue was warning us about the sea rise all along. Lottie's imposing brick house, capped by a mansard roof, anchors the middle block. 2-story piazzas, the old-fashioned Charleston name for porches, grace the front of her house. Once almost blindingly white, the piazza columns now collect grime in their flutes, giving them permanent shadows. I take a hard left, my wheels crunching the oyster-shell driveway, the high porticos rising to my right. I lean my bike against an old crepe myrtle and push the squeaky wrought iron gate that opens into the deep lot behind the house. The grounds are divided into thirds. The section closest to the house is a formal garden with symmetrical paths bordered by low-growing boxwood and accented by giant topiaries. It's a miniature version of Versailles. Behind the garden is the pool, which is nestled into the brick patio like a gem in an antique ring. Finally, far from view of the house and obscured by a fortress of greenery, aspidistra at the walkway, sago palms at shoulder height, and ancient camellias at the top of this hidden urban canopy, is the wild land left for Lottie. In this little outdoor room, fully open to the sun, is a garden of